Okay, I think we're live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another trading day, FOMC day, which will be much later, though, where we're going to be scalping, trading, day trading, NQ on the New York Open. I'm going to get a screen up. How's everyone doing today? All right, screen share. Here we go. Awesome. We're about to open. 2 seconds, 1 second. Here we go. Boom. Now, we're coming back to that gap real quick. I could actually show it here. I mean, there was technically a trade, an area where you want to buy into, because remember what I've always explained. If I go on a 15-minute, Thomas, good to see you. How you doing? Is we broke this area, right, yesterday. We actually broke it, this long-term gap, and now I'm only looking for, now that we broke it, I'm looking for a dip back into it and then a continuation. So I'm looking to buy once we're in that gap, and we opened and literally tapped into it. Hopefully there's that's not the move. Hopefully we get a little bit more actual real movement here, because we have just about tapped into it twice and we're rejecting. But I mean, that was literally the open candle, right? Wajid, good to see you. Trade of 8 is stuck. Good morning. I don't know what to say, man. Amar, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Con, good to see you as well. How you doing? We've got some new names in the chat. Cody, great to see you. So we've opened with a potential possibility of a trade. So hopefully, just dip. Where the hell is what's going on here? Oh God, I was right away. Yeah. So I want to buy down here, and the open candle just dipped into it. But I mean, that was too quick. Because right now on the order flow, I mean, it does look good, but I don't want to buy yet because there's a good chance it could just retrace. Don't go off without me. Come on. This is the worst part, when it opens and goes to a zone on the open candle is the worst part. Or the news candle. That's as well. That pisses me off when that happens. When you got like news coming out, so obviously you're not going to trade it. And then the news candle is the one that dips in, to an area that you've always been waiting for. And then, I mean, what could you do? Do you know what I mean? Like, I guess you could trade it if you really wanted to, but it's a bit risky. Oh, come on, push down, get back into there. Don't leave without me. You're literally a bastard, NQ. That is terrible. That is the worst open ever. I actually hate NQ right now. Come on, man. You couldn't have done it a few minutes after open. You had to do it on the actual open candle. You couldn't just do it, like 2 minutes into the open, just dip back into here, have a little play, and then boom, make your move. Freaking ridiculous. We might get a pullback. Hopefully we just get back into this damn area. Okay, this is looking good. All right, come on. I do want to see what happens though with these guys. Are they able to defend? I haven't even got my cash account up. Let me get that up as well, because I don't want to miss any potential trades here. All right, that's looking good. Looking good. Come on. All right, so these guys are defending. Okay. 140, 150. There's absorption there. Come on, yeah, break down. Come on. That's it. Good. Get this tool away. There we go. Good. All right. We might get a second opportunity here. All right. That's brightened me up a bit. Come on, bit more. I mean, ideally into 26,187 would be even better, because this is a huge area. It could really reject any. I need to keep my eye on it. All right, bit of buyers again coming in. It's the open. It might be quick. I have to dip front run this one. What kind of size are we looking at here in terms of movement? 30 points. I may have to front run here. I don't want to front run it on my cash account. I'll do it on Wheel of Prime. But I really don't want to front run. I'm liking what I'm seeing in terms of sorry, 35.17. Okay. Fuck it. Let's front run it. If we get below that candle, who cares? All right. Come on. There we go. We're in. I'm going to front run it. I mean, it's not where I really want to enter. But all right, that's not looking good now. But let's see if buyers, all right, we've got an opportunity. We're actually in now. Do you hear that? It's like, what the hell is that? I don't know if you guys heard that as well. But there's some like really loud knocking going on. I mean, I live by myself, so it's not anyone in my house. All right, let's see. Okay, we are going deeper down. Maybe I'm gonna get out because I think now we're actually gonna we could get a proper move. I don't want to hold a potential what's it called? Yeah, I don't want to like kind of average in. I want to see. Oh my God, that knocking is very annoying. All right. That's really annoying. Can you hear that? Let me know in the chat if you can hear that knocking. You can hear it, yeah. I think it's a neighbor doing something. It's hammering. Okay. All right, I'm seeing this as a potential. I'm going to enter on my cash first. All right, I'm going to go in. Come on. Oh my God, what is going on? Hurry up, execute. There we go. Okay, I've front run with 2 contracts on my cash account. I'm going to wait a little bit for the Ola Prime until we get confirmation. I don't want to front run too often. Fuck it, let's add that there, put that here. That'll look good. All right. Until aggressive buyers come in, I'm not going to put any more size into the market. There we go. Come on. What is going on? There it is. All right. I'm trying to set the stop and it was like, I don't know, lagging. All right. Let's look at some of the chat. Okay, I might as well just match what I did on my cash account, on the Ola Prime account, because then I can at least, So I've entered 2 contracts on my cash, hoping if we get some aggressive buying coming in. I've actually entered a little bit of a worse price, 2225 on the cash. So I'm here, but basically the same. And then I can pile on a bit more size if these aggressive buyers actually start coming in. That there's a bit of buying coming, a bit of my voice is going. There's a bit of buying coming in, but it's not aggressive enough. I'm going to keep my finger on flatten because this is still very dangerous territory. Obviously, I'm going to manage my cash account more than this account. So this account, I'm, the market makers are messing with you. maybe. Sorry, I've got to keep my eye on this because I'm in a real trade. So I will look at the chat in a second. This is a bit more. Come on, buyers, keep adding. Come on, don't fail here. There we go. That's it. Add a bit of aggression. All right, I'm going in with another contract. Okay, keep my stop at break even. All right, cool. That's a risk-free trade now. I want to see though. I I really want to see. There was some aggressive buying coming in here, but they're getting absorbed. We're back down to 49, which isn't a little bit. I want to see. Come on, just add size, buyers. Add size. You want to take off. And if we do take off, like we can really take off. We can go back to the highs and whatnot. So I'll just set that. I'll let this run a bit. There we go. Come on. Good. Good. There's the buying. All right. I'm going to trail it a little bit. Trailing it on my cash. Come on. As soon as I'm out this trade, I'll look at the comments, I promise. Come on, don't fail here. Keep going, keep going. That's it. Add more size. Ah, you son of a. Come on. There we go. Good, good. Another 180. Back to 160, 130. Not terrible. Oof, back to 100. Come on. Reload. Yep. I want to see it reload, from the buy side. That's it. More reloading. 200. Now again, back to 100. On the next level, 60, 80, 140. There we go. Come on. Reload and really push through that with a bit of speed. I need to see a bit of speed. Come on. One last push. Come on. Keep pushing. That. There we go. That's what I want to see. Come on now. That's it. Keep going. Come on. I don't like that. We need to stay above those sellers or else I'm getting out. Come on, stay above them. Stay above. This could be a slight pullback here. Oh, 300. I don't like these numbers. I mean, it's not doing much, which is good, but I don't like the actual number of seeing 300. Do you know what I mean? But it's good that we're staying above them. I mean, it's still a good sign. I just don't like seeing that size against me. All right, here we go. There we go. Good, good. We're above them. So now, like on my cash, I am moving my stop to 159. Oh, yeah, we go. Beautiful, beautiful. And I can do the same here. 159, wherever that is. Oh, there we go. What the hell has just happened? There we go. All right. So slow. I will still naturally want to flatten. Obviously, this high here is there's gonna be some profit taking of some sort. So I hope that the aggression is strong enough just to kind of blow through that and not really slow down too much. But I'm still liking how there's what do you call it? Sellers at the bottom of the candle. I really don't want it to get below these sellers and give them any kind of room to breathe. Let's keep them somewhat trapped. Come on, that's it. Keep them trapped. I will get to the comments in a minute. This trade's almost done, I think. If it starts faffing about, I'll probably take my money. Almost there. And then I will look at the comments, I promise. I know. There we go. That's good. There we go. I mean, I've got a very nice entry as well. Bang on. And that's why front running sometimes is worth doing. Just because you get, if you get it right, you get a really good entry. But if you get it wrong, you obviously get stopped out very quickly. It's starting to pull up the buyers at the top here. All right, I'm gonna get out on my cash for now. Well, let me just maybe I'm being a bit too hasty because I feel like this could push up even more. You know what? I'm gonna set a stop. 6.5. 6.5. Let's set a stop there. All right. We'll get the stop on this as well. 6.5. We'll trail it very tightly. Oh, there we go. There's a bit of a pop. Okay, a lot of stops were touched. Sorry, not stops. A lot of sellers came in, and I think, come on, keep going. That knocking is really pissing me off. All right, we'll keep trailing this. There we go. Add some size. Keep trailing. Oh, this is moving nicely. This is moving nicely. Oh, now there's a lot of buy volume coming in here. I think there's a lot of take profits coming in from the buyers who got in basically where I got in. They're starting to get out the market now. So I may want to look at potentially joining them if they start. If we can't really get above them, I'll look at getting out as well. Yeah, we're starting to struggle a little bit. I'll give it a few more seconds. Come on. 76.41. It's still looking okay. There's still buyers coming in. 81. A lot more sellers coming in. There's a real battle here. Come on. Come on. Pop. There we go. I really, really want to get above all those take profits. They always do. They come on. All right, that's looking all right. 106, 130. So I'm just trying to measure constantly how efficient each side of the market is. And the buyers are losing efficiency here as a whole, which is making me a little bit cautious now at potentially looking at getting out. So, all right, I'm getting out on my cash. I'm happy. We got to that high. All right, I'm out on my cash. I might as well get out on the Ola Prime as well. I did hit flat and it's like a 10-second delay right now. I don't know what's going on, but all right, cool. Trade's done. Let's look at the comments real quick. The market makes some messing with you. Yes, we can hear it. Hello, brother. I'm bullish on gold. Very good. I haven't looked at gold yet, but I'll have a look soon. Nimble Slice. You got spirits in your house. Maybe. Maybe. They don't like my trading. They're like knocking, trying to distract me. I'm only focused on volume profile. It's okay. I think for gold, it's okay. If you do more longer term kind of moves, yeah. See, I'm glad I got out there. Just again, sorry, I will come back to you, Afghan bit, but I just want to point out, you saw how there was a lot of buy volume coming in. There was obviously profit taking from the buyer side, and it just the efficiency wasn't there. Do you know what I mean? The efficiency, it just slowed down. It kind of stopped. There was volume there, but it just wasn't able to really go much. The sellers were kind of coming in. There's a good chance there could be some kind of pullback. And we had quite an aggressive push down now. So I'm I would have just got trailed out at wherever it was, 6.5 or something. So I got a few extra points basically. But it's good to kind of like, as a scalper, you want to kind of like be fluid with the market, If you're seeing something that, yeah, good to kind of make that decision. Yeah, sometimes you're going to be wrong and it will, it might dip a little bit and it will shoot off. But when you're seeing something quite extreme, like especially quite a lot of volume from the buy side, or a decent amount of volume, so to speak, yeah, and you're already up and you had a good trade, because realistically, take profit one would be that high where the line is, and then take profit two will probably be this high, and then obviously take profit three will be up there, four, and then you can trail. So if you, depending on how much size you want to kind of take partial sometimes, or however you want to do it, there's loads of ways you can do it. But yeah, I was happy to get out. Ghost knocking at the door. So yeah, Afghan, as I was saying, for gold, I think, yeah, if you're only doing volume profile and doing longer term trades, I think it's okay, because I wouldn't put that much emphasis on the footprint on gold just because you're not seeing the full market. The chart of gold essentially is moved by so many other factors not just the futures buy and sell contracts. That's a smaller kind of part of the whole gold market. So you can use the footprint a bit to kind of, maybe give you a bit more clarity in your trading, but basing all your decisions purely on the footprint, not so much. The volume footprint, not volume footprint, the volume profile, because that takes overall structure into play, speed and obviously volume as well, but more about time, and that's going to hold a lot better. So we'll look at gold actually in a second. Is the US stock market bundle not for CME, not including futures, micro NQ? So is the US stock market bundle not? Yeah. So the stock market bundle, that's for individual stocks and stuff. You want CME, which includes the micro NQ, ES, gold. It includes COMEX as well. So the stock market bundle is literally stocks. So hi Sammy, I've learned a lot from you. After you close out your trade, can you please go over how you came up with low volume node gaps? My low volume node gaps never align with yours on Project X. Thank you. Okay, sure. I'll do that in 2 seconds because that's going to be a bit longer. But I just want to see any other short comments I can quickly reply to, and then I'll get to you, Pat. Okay. My order's not going through. Are you talking about TradeOvate? TradeOvate is down. Well, I mean, if TradeOvate's down, I mean, there's nothing I can do, but that does suck. Benjamin, good to see you. Hey, Hey, Sammy, good evening, my friend. I'm buying the dip in gold right now. Need to make a profit so that we can have a premium account trading view so we can use order flow strategy. Awesome stuff. Benjamin, there are cheaper options for order flow available. If for example, if TradingView Premium is a bit pricey for you, there's the cheapest one out there that you can possibly get. And this is dirt cheap. Obviously, I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but this is literally just the cheapest order flow platform you could ever have. It's called Cluster Delta. And don't get me wrong, look, it's a bit it's literally its own software, right? And you get the footprint, you get basically everything you need. You don't get a volume profile, but you get footprint wise, you get everything you need. You got the deltas, all that kind of stuff. And it's like $7.50 a month. So it's dirt cheap. Is it going to be the most flexible, versatile order flow program? No. But if you're literally just kind of want the footprint, I mean, it does the job, right? It does the job. So if money is an issue, I would recommend, practice, learn. It's $7.50. It's next to nothing. So that's always a good option. Let's see. Thomas, Sam, what do you think about mentor Q and the options gamma levels, like put support, core resistance, and other levels, and whatnot? It says a lot about what price level. Honestly, Thomas, I'll be dead honest. I've never really looked into it. It was something I've seen in kind of pop up more recently, but I've never really studied it, never really looked into it. But it's something I've kind of had saved that one day I want to kind of look into. So I really can't say much about it, honestly. Are you here knocking, or is it my door? No, that's from, I think my neighbor is doing something. They're knocking, but they stopped now, so it's all good. Good morning, Caden. Good morning. Good morning. In gold, volume profile really accurate. Need to check some low volume numbers on higher. Yes. Victor, can you show where you set up your low volume node levels quickly? Just which leg you chose. I think mine is slightly different to yours. Absolutely. Okay, so someone else asked this as well. I'll do it on TradingView because I think that's the most versatile. And I'm going to use a candlestick just because candles are a bit easier to see, right? So if I zoom right out, 15-minute chart, I've started it from literally the bottom, okay? So you can see here, literally the lowest point of this move up to where we currently are now, because, unless you only want to stop it when there's a real kind of, break instruction, a real kind of, movement. Use it like a Fibonacci tool, right? Just like how you would use Fibonacci, you basically want to use it like that. And then I've drawn out, this low volume node right here, this one, and there's another one down here, there's another one here. I haven't bothered to put them on the chart because the likelihood of going down here right now is next to nothing. But maybe on FOS, I know, in a few hours time, like absolutely it could, but I won't be trading, so I haven't bothered to put them out. And then this one here, this bigger one, goes back all the way in time to that high there. All right, so literally from the highest point, this is all the way back 30th of October, because if I go to like an hour chart, you could probably see the structure. That was a big move down, and we have yet to break that high, right? We're still kind of within that range, okay? We've just been ranging up and down, basically. But that whole move down is still well within, is still kind of technically in play. Do you know what I mean? And like if you wanted to identify where this kind of move down could reject up, you would use the lowest point in recent times for a push up, right? So I could use like a 4-hour chart. I mean, we've this push up has been insane, right? It's been ages. So for like the longer term plays, I would do from here all the way up to here. And then, there's a low volume node for this move up, and boom, that's where this one rejected off. So every higher time frame kind of has its areas. Does that make sense? And should we ever have like a market crash or something, and we dump however many percent, God knows how many percent this is going to be huge, 11%, right? Then, I'll be looking at potentially buying a pullback in here or even down here, on the really long term kind of moves. So obviously I don't have this on the chart right now because it's kind of pointless. I mean, again, the likelihood of us going down here is very unlikely. But should we, start crashing or something, hypothetically, I'm going to have this on the chart, this area, because that could be an area where it stops and a whole big move up starts happening. Now, these are very long-term areas, but they're good to have, kind of somewhere on the chart written out if you want. And then this one is obviously this area. But yeah, so, and then obviously I've got this last push up as more of a kind of shorter term scalping kind of move, right? And because we broke this bigger area, like I explained in the video, because we didn't just reject and go down, we actually broke it. I'm looking for the pull back into it and then the continuation out. And that's exactly why I took, ready for a long position as we dipped into it, and I took that scalp. All right. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. Good morning, Sam. How's it going? Jose, very good. How are you, my friend? Do you have some experience with ATAS, Sam? Not massively, honestly. I think like many years ago, I downloaded it, played around with it, but I really don't have much experience with it. Benjamin, yeah, I use that one, but I can't really understand it. It's like a very old school. I don't know what that is in reference of, Benjamin. I'm on Trader8. Yeah, I figured it's down. Well, that's annoying. That Trader8's down. They don't have a. Oh, you're talking about cluster delta. Got you, Benjamin. They don't have a trading view, like overall total of the delta. I think they do at the top, the overall delta. Or you mean like cumulative delta? I'm not sure. But I do think at the top of the program, there is like numbers, which are, the overall delta of the candle. They do have that. But like I said, I mean, for $7.50 a month, it is a bit janky, but it kind of does the job, Menthol Q is really good and professional if you pay the monthly fee and you trade based on options target. You can take the charts and upload them to Grok and it will make it very digestive. Interesting. Good to see you, Charis, as well, by the way. My friend swings based on mental and chart bar, making banks. Nice. It's something I definitely want to look into. If you study order flow and combine with high volume nodes of anchored volume profiles with the call walls, put walls, rock for you. Very nice. You're using fixed range. Yes, fixed range volume profile. Fixed range volume profile tool. That's the one I use. Trade of 8 is still down. Damn. Well, I hope it opens up, because that's very annoying. Can you give away prop firm accounts to me, please? I can't give away accounts, but actually, there is a code for Ola Prime that you can use that can give you 25% off. It's SAM25. I'll put it in the chat. SAM25 for 25% off Ola Prime. There we go. If it's something you wanna take advantage of, go ahead. I don't get any commission or anything from it. It's literally, I mean, I work for Ola Prime, so I do have to say that. Obviously, I'm going to recommend them. I'm employed by them, but like genuinely, we're a decent prop firm as well. We're actually very decent. So yeah, if you were thinking of buying, you might as well use that code. Sam, can you identify? When is that order flow entry video coming out? Very soon. I've literally like any day now. Okay, Victor. Wajid, Sam, can you identify which candle is the first open candle? The first open candle. What do you mean by first open candle? As in, like the open of the New York session, or what exactly do you mean, Wajid? Hey mate, just discovered you and really enjoying the content and learning so far. Keep it up, please. God bless. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Much appreciated. So we're kind of just ranging up and down in this area. Oh, we could have technically had another little trade up here, actually. It came back into this area and retested. Let's see on the footprint what it actually said. If there was something obvious on the footprint. What the hell is going on? I'm clicking footprint. There it is. My computer is extremely slow for some reason. And okay, so yeah, I mean, you can see again, the sell volume kind of failed. There was a bit of bigger sell volume, and then heavier buyers came in. But it does look like we're kind of ranging up and down in these areas. So you could have had a scalp, could have front runned it a bit. But again, very important to kind of look at it live, you know, what you're actually seeing live, especially if you're using the delta. If you're using the buy and sell footprint, you can see heavier volume as a whole, right? Because it's like, for example, the delta on this area is not going to be that big, right? It's only going to be 4, but there was still like okay volume, right? So you can kind of see it live with the buy and sell. Some people prefer to look at the buy and sell, but I personally like the delta. But the caveat to that is you kind of need to watch it live. Do you know what I mean? So you can see the numbers change in real time. 1, 2, 3, back to 100 means 23 sellers came in. Back to 130 means 30 buyers came in. Jump to 160. Like, you can see that live and kind of train your eyes to spot it. It takes a bit of time, but it's like learning anything, like learning a new language, whatever it might be. The more you kind of practice it, you just, I don't know, you become fluent in it essentially. So CME Group, E-mini included, that one's good for future. Yeah, that's the one you want, basically, E-minis. So that's like the ES, NQ, the YM, which is the Dow, all that good stuff, basically. Charis, hey Sam, just got back from work and set my charts, etc., and saw them enter the queue message, so thought of answering first. Very good. No, I appreciate it, man. You seem to know a lot more about it than I do, so I do appreciate that you answered that question. Looking for buys at 232 and 213. 232. Yeah, that is exactly where I took a buy earlier. I took a little bit low. I think it was like 220 something, but essentially that's the area I'm looking for buys as well. So we're on the same page. Sam, how can I thank you? You don't need to thank me. It's all good. I'm just glad that all this stuff is helping. We are inside fair value. Yeah. Put the VWAP, man. Joe, I sometimes have the VWAP. Like, I have it available on my chart, like, and I sometimes turn it on. But in certain I don't know. Like sometimes I turn it on just to kind of know where it is, but I don't know why I don't like having a line on my chart. I know that sounds weird, but I just don't really. I don't know. It's a personal thing. I trade gaps mixed with volume profile. I think if I have a VWAP as well on there or any averages, moving averages, I might it just complicates things a little too much. Because like for example, when I took this buy here, the VWAP might have scared me a little bit. Oh, we're touching the VWAP, and I might have made a decision rather than hold it out. Do you see what I mean? But it's definitely a very good indicator to have. But I kind of like keeping it a bit more simple. All right. I'm a cyber security student. If you need any help, I can help you. Same, help me in trading. I appreciate that. If I do need any cyber security, I'll hit you up. Holy Earth, massive Trade of 8 Ninja tech issues. Be aware, everyone. Yeah, everyone's saying Trade of 8 is down. I feel for you guys, man. This is the one-time Project X is working. What's going on? Maybe it's been hacked. Afghan Bit, maybe you can offer your services to Trade of 8 and Ninja a cybersecurity. Who knows? What about the DX Future? Is it good? Look, DX Futures is all right platform. Don't get me wrong. It's stable. It works. Like you can do everything you need on it. I just don't. Personally, I don't really like it in the way it looks, but it is an absolutely fine platform. Like for real, man. I subscribe to ATAS, but I find TradingView more useful. Interesting. Yeah, like again, I'll say this: TradingView. Is it the best order flow platform? No. Like there are far more advanced, better platforms out there. The best one, probably in terms of like absolute capability, would be like Sierra Charts. But like genuinely, you need an engineering degree to work that platform. It's just ridiculous, right? Um, but the reason I kind of switched to TradingView is the cloud-based. I love the fact it's cloud-based. It's pretty reliable. Like when was the last time TradingView crashed or got down? Like it's quite reliable in general. Um, and I'm kind of betting that they are the future. Do you know what I mean? They're the biggest charting platform provider in the world. They're a public company now. As order flow becomes more popular with retail traders, you bet your bottom dollar that TradingView is going to pile on the features and they're really going to make it sleek. They're kind of the Tesla of the order flow world. Like people hate on them because it's like you're the new kid on the block and you're trying to be all sleek. It's not like the old fashioned V8 muscle car or something, which I totally get why it gets hate. But at the same time, like if you're looking for the future, like you probably want to be betting on TradingView. So that's why I've kind of switched over, and it really grew on me. It has really grown on me because it's very simple. So true. Lol, you'd hate to see my chart lines everywhere. Dr. Kais, hey, if it works for you, man, that's all that matters. I'm just it's all down to personal preference, stuff like that. ICT feature is bearish. So true regarding Sierra. I gave up. Yeah. Oh man, holy earth. Crazy program. Like it is ridiculous. But it is like insane. Like so many institutions use Sierra charts, but they have their own kind of like custom template and everything proper. Like they hire people to build a custom templated version of Sierra charts. It's literally so you can tune it however you like, which is insane. And you can code like anything into it. It is nuts. But it really, for the retail trader, it's a bit overkill, I think. I think TradingView will come through. They've been consistently updating. Exactly. They're gonna be big. They're really gonna, be the biggest ones at some point. Deep charts, by the way. Andrea had a live show or something, and ICT entered the chat, and they had 100K bet. ICT pulled off later. Oh, really? I've seen the beef between Andrea and the ICT dude. Um, so what they had 100K bet, 100K bet on what? Like who can trade the best or something? That's insane. I gotta check it out because I left a comment once on Andrea's Instagram on one of his posts where he was talking about ICT, and then like he hearted it and he was like, yeah, and it got a bunch of likes, and then I just got so much hate from ICT traders. Like I was just like, I don't know, man. Like it's all well and good if it's something that works for you, go for it. But you can't call it order flow unless you're actually looking at orders. Do you know what I mean? They will take the rest out of business. Forget deep charts. I want to try deep charts because I do think it looks decent. Victor, I use deep charts. They show aggregate trades, which not a lot of platforms do. Yeah, see, I've seen stuff like a lot of features on deep chart because it's built by Andrea and I forget the other guy, Valentini or something. I think they're the guys behind it. And they're proper order flow traders. Like they're legit. They know their shit. So the fact that they built, because you got to remember, a lot of these platforms are all right. They're built by traders as well, or have consultant traders, helping them. But a lot of it is built by people who probably don't understand 100% what the trader wants. So when a platform's built by people who actually use that and know what is useful for a trader, it does massively help. So I can imagine the platform's really good. My God, there's so many comments. This is awesome, though. This is a really lively live. I'll have to get through these comments a bit quicker. Okay, so I'm just going to get through them a bit quicker. Been using it since 2017. Deep chart. If they're bearish, I'm bullish. Very choppy start to NY. Wonder if the market is waiting for FOMC. 100% it is. Yeah. I'm not going to imagine much is really in terms of like real movements going to happen until FOMC. Deep chart is cool. I used A-test for a couple of years. It started lagging at New York Open every day, and the price action would be a solid 3 minutes behind for an hour. The tech support, damn, that's not good. Switch to Quant Tower. Quant Tower apparently is very good as well. Yeah, put PW already. Offered Mike 100K, and he turned it down. Damn. ICT is fake. He stands for I cannot trade. Oh, that's brilliant. That's crazy that he turned it down because that's his reputation on the line. This is why you shouldn't start battles with people if you're not willing to like go the whole yard and actually fight in what you believe in. Don't start fights with people, man. He posted it on YouTube or something. The Robin Cup competition bet. Oh, okay, the Robin Cup. I don't even think that's real money anyway, so I don't know what he's so scared for, man. Just do it. If you all right, look, if you lose, you lose. But so what, man? Like I have more respect for someone, all right, who gives it a try. Not everyone's gonna be, you don't have to prove you're the best. You just gotta, okay, fine. You know, it's gonna hurt his reputation a lot more if he doesn't go through with it, than if he decides to actually do it and not come out on top. Sammy, do you mind showing your fixed volume profile ranges settings on Project X? Exactly the same as what do you call it? As TradingView. I mean, it is literally TradingView. Project X is just TradingView inbuilt into their platform. But yeah, I'll load up the settings. I think it's 24. I have clicked it. It's just extremely slow. I don't know what's going on. There it is. So number of rows, row size 24, the volume up, down, or total, it's exactly the same. And the value area volume at 100. Okay. I'll leave it up for a second for you. ICT is like a cult. I used to trade ICT before. Wait till he releases deep DOM. That would be interesting. If they're looking to put something like that into their program, I'm definitely going to even more interested. You come for one, you come for all. I just took a nice scalp off that gap right below this big node. Excellent. Good stuff, man. What did not work too well for me? Okay, ICT. That thing looks like Bookmap on steroids. Yeah, I'm super excited about what they got cooking up. Massive engulfing on ES. Fabio's a beat. Fabio, that's his name. Yes. Yeah, he's awesome, man. Andrea's promoting it. Fabio's the main uh, big, I got it, trader and back it up knowledge wise. But it was built by a very young IT prodigy, Antonio. Amazing, amazing. Yeah, no, they're doing some really cool stuff, those guys. A lot of respect from my end. Don't forget the small guys when you're sitting at 1 million subs. Honestly, I won't forget these names, man. I won't. And a million subs is doubtful, but who knows? You never know. FOMC, I think it's going to be a nothing burger. We already know there's no cut this month. So I mean, I've had a bit of a shit month to start the year. What about you? Yeah, this month hasn't been that great, but that's normal. It's January. Um, it's normal. I always have my best months usually, funnily enough, around summertime. A lot of people have the opposite. They're like summer's shit. For me, I always find summer's great. But yeah, it's been all right though. It's not been terrible. I had but I haven't traded that much on my cash account this month. I've been, yeah, maybe like some days I didn't even trade, like one trade a day. But you're right. I don't think FOMC is going to do much unless it's a big upset or something. Can you show your footprint settings on candles? Absolutely, absolutely. So the footprint settings are very simple. Oh, look at that! Look at that. We're back in that area. Very nice. Look at those sellers dropped at the bottom. In real time, definitely get in for a scalp. You know what? If that happened, it's moved a bit already, but yeah, as soon as you saw that, those sellers get trapped at a bottom, the buyers pushing up, coming aggressively. Absolutely buy scalp. We're in that gap. There was another little opportunity there, but I'll open up the footprint settings for you. So ticks per row, that changes depending on how volatile the market is. So I keep it on manual and I do it in fours. Okay, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, etc. Because there's 4 ticks in a point, so it's always 1 point. So it's always basically even. But yeah, if like for example, these clusters are a bit small because the market's a bit moving a bit more, I'll bump that up to 24 just to get the clusters a bit bigger and I can see a bit more detail. But yeah, that changes depending on volatility. Display, I have it as a cluster. Type is obviously delta. I don't apply the gradient. I keep it just solid colors. And for the table, I've got delta percent, and session CVD. All right. So, and that's literally it. I keep the imbalance off because I kind of look at it just with my eyes. And yeah, don't need a value area. Very simple settings. Okay. I'll keep them up for a little bit for you. Do you have any tips to pass challenge faster on prop firms, but with no full port mode and stuff like that? Luca, truth be told, there is kind of no way. If you want to pass a challenge fast on a prop firm, you kind of have to risk a lot. But look, it's a legit strategy in terms of evaluations, right? Like, if the prop firm allows you to pass within like a day or two or whatever, and you decide to full port, okay, be prepared. You're going to lose. You're going to blow some accounts, right? You might need to take 3, 4 challenges before you get to the funded stage. But then, as long as you dial it back on the funded stage, right? You don't do none of that silly shit like full porting. You keep it, really low micros, whatever. That's a legit strategy because I can understand you don't want to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever of trading, just an evaluation. I get it, but there really is no kind of quick way. You just have to take big risk. No risk, no Ferrari, as they say. So that's literally it, man. Obviously, he will lose. Order flow traders very liquid in the market. ICT needs more confirmation. While on order flow, you can literally get in and get out. Exactly. Being liquid of the market is so important, I think, especially if you're a scalper. I can understand if you're a swing trader, obviously you want to hold, you're trying to want to get those big extensions. But then again, you're only getting a trade every so often. As a scalper, you're in, out, in, out. You're really trying to capitalize on small movements. I truly believe in ICT capabilities because they make sense and people make a lot of money. The only gap is that, again, you're predict instead of reacting. Well, yeah, I've heard this a lot, and I think you said this the other day, Charis. The actual theory behind it is solid, um, but again, you're guessing. You're guessing where institutional activity took place. You're guessing, and there's really no need to guess anymore. Like, I can understand why you would have guessed 10 years ago where order flow platforms were kind of difficult to get your hands on, and they were expensive and there wasn't that much information for the retail trader. But nowadays, like, it's so easy to get your hands on it. I don't understand why you're guessing anymore. Just react. You can still use ICT concepts and the way they trade, but then just use the footprint instead with it, and then I'll just add that extra layer to it. I'm at 23 total trades, 7 wins, 16 losses. As long as your wins are bigger than your losses and a good risk reward, that's fine. It's not always about the win rate. So hopefully good stuff. Mohi, good to see you again. Hi, Sam. Hope you're doing well. Sorry I got in late. No need to apologize. Is there any other strategies do you use other than trading on low volume nodes? Not really, man. It works very well for me. That's literally what I've been doing for years and years and years. It's never kind of not stopped working, because it's the reason it works as well is because it's the low volume. I mean, there's nothing special about low volume nodes. It's literally because of how they were created, right? They're only created through aggression, and the market and the market didn't spend much time there and gapped through, and that's really what you're looking for. Like any other strategy as a whole, even smart money concepts, all this kind of stuff, they're always talking about order blocks. What is an order block, right? A block of orders, or an area of orders, a chunk of orders, but institutional activity, but institutions placed aggressively quickly to speed the market and push it in their direction. That's exactly what the low volume node shows you, right? That's literally all it is. So it's the same concept. It's all just different words, different ways of looking at it, but essentially it's the same fundamental concept, right? I'm thinking to get into footprint charts to see if I can make my strategy better or create a decent strategy with it. Well worth looking into, man. Well worth looking into, Ghost Mode. You'll be famous, my friend. Your teachings is purely gem. Easily to understand, no hype, straight to the point. That's why I will always give a time for your live every night. I appreciate that, Benjamin. Really do. We have same settings, but your numbers are different than mine on every candle. Are you looking at? Are you sure you're on the NQ with CME and you got the CME data feed? Like, what numbers are you seeing? Because all right, they could be slightly different because sometimes it does come down to your computer speed as well on how it puts it, but it really shouldn't be that different. So there's just double check. Are you looking at MNQ, for example? Are you looking at double check you're actually on the right instrument, the same instrument, all that kind of stuff, right? Bro, I blew 20 plus accounts when getting funded. You still need to trade it like someone else's money. Thank you. I'm aware of that. Good, Luca. Need to learn compounding knowledge and execute till I will be confident in my trades. Absolutely. Oh yeah, I saw that new video you posted. Was good stuff. Thank you, Dr. Kais. Lots of respect for you. Few traders willing to trade live in front of people. You're one of the few, brother. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, trading live. I mean, look, if you lose money, you lose. Every trader loses money. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but ultimately, it is what it is. There's no such thing as like a perfect trader who never loses money. And anyone trying to sell you that dream, that's just just they're talking shit essentially. Like, you'd be surprised how many institutional traders lose constantly. Like, they lose a lot as well, only because they're institutional doesn't mean much really. They lose a lot. But overall, they are long term. They're still profitable. Obviously, otherwise they'd be fired. But watching the order flow, can I mark areas where big buyers or sellers are sitting? If yes, how would you trade such areas? I'll get to that in a second. Market maker trying to kidnap you. Can you show me an example with what is exactly look for on your chart entry, stop, take profit, please? Okay, good. All right. Mohi, I'll answer yours, and then ghost mode, I'll be on yours. Okay. So Mohi, yes, you can do that, right? But you really only want to do it when you see something in real time that makes sense. So for example, hypothetically, right? Let's take this candle, because this looks like it probably did it, but I wasn't there to I didn't actually watch it live. Say you're watching this candle live right now, moving, and you saw a bunch of sellers come in, right? Heavy sellers come in, and that, like, I'm talking split second, instant, the buyers just pushed it up, right? Really quick. That is a good sign, right? That those sellers are going to be trapped. There was some aggressive buyers who gapped the market very quickly, that they're probably going to be aggressive again if they need to defend their position, right? So yeah, absolutely, you could draw out that kind of area, but only for the short term, because you got to remember, these people, they might get out the market soon, right? You could draw that area out, and if we get near it or into it, does that aggression come back in, or are they dropping out? You can do stuff like that as well as a scalper. Or you can look at longer term areas where there was big, buying in the footprint, and kind of, all right, we had like a decent push up here. Were there any buyers? And you could zoom into those individual levels. You can do that, but that's exactly what the volume footprint, no, sorry, the volume profile does already. If I just do a volume profile from here to here, this little leg up, right? So I'll draw out. So from here, obviously from down here to up here, right? The point of control, almost guaranteed, is going to be here. This is going to be the heaviest volume. And the lowest volume node, I can tell you right away, is going to be right there, because that's where it spent the least amount of time. I can just see it with my eye already. And here it spent the most amount of time. And then there's going to be other little low volume nodes in and about, right? So let's just see, for example, so from the bottom to the top. Oh, I've got it set on keep right, extend right. So let me move that off, because that's extending all the way right. But there you go, right? Boom. Point of control, as I thought it would be, the lowest volume node right there. Okay, because it's more a time metric, right? And the only reason now, like, look at this candle. Why is that a little gap? I mean, you could just look at that candle, right? It shot up. Let me just get rid of the volume footprint. Something caused that to shoot up. I mean, that was actually market open, so it's a bit different. That wasn't really technically, real heavy buying or anything. That's market open. So it's a bit of a bad example. But if we scratch that one and look at another one, like this one here, there's a low. Look, you can see it again, how there was real aggressive buying happening, and there was more aggressive buying happening here. And there was another one, more aggressive buying. These are caused by large aggressive orders, right? So if you go to the footprint, you can then see where those orders most likely were. Now, this is pre-market, so the overall volume is going to be smaller, right? But you can see just alone, the numbers on average were like 16, 8, 11, and then you got 74, 63, big numbers in comparison to what we've had, right? And so you don't really even need to do it from the footprint. You just use the volume profile to find those areas and kind of already know there was heavy buying or selling in that area, right? In this case, because it moved up, it was obviously heavy buying. If it was a downward move, it would obviously be heavy selling, right? So the volume profile just makes it really quick to identify heavy buying and selling that was aggressively done. And then you just wait for it to kind of go back into that area, and boom, you use the footprint then to see if buyers want to come back in again. Do buyers actually want to keep buying in that area? That's the big question, right? And that's why you use the footprint for your entry. But apart from that, you're using the volume profile to identify the key areas, right? Like I'm very interested in this area where the gray goes darker, because there's a really nice gap. I have to move to the 15-minute, but you can see a really nice gap right there, right? So if we do plummet down and go to that area, I'm very interested at potentially buying if the volume profile, not volume pro, the footprint confirms it, right? If I see some kind of positive sign on the footprint. Where are we? Can you show me an example of what is you're exactly looking for on the chart entry? So let's go back to the trade I took right at the beginning, right? I mean, I did front run it a bit, but what I'm looking for, I would say more the exit, actually. The exit kind of, I got out literally up here, right? And the exit was more kind of, you actually saw it very good there. The reason I got out of this long was because just look at the buy volume that came in, right? And they just couldn't get it up any higher. So that's already the efficiency of the market. Like, it just changed. Before, when buyers came in, they were actively pushing the market up. They came in, they pushed the market up. Yes, they kind of, struggled a little bit here, but they kept coming in stronger, did get the market up. And then sellers started coming in, right? And then buyers tried to push it up again, but they just started failing. You saw it in real time. Like, it's not even so much about the candle, how it closed. It's the real time movement of the candle. Like, it just couldn't really go any higher. It just kept pushing down and then it stopped. It didn't want to go any higher. Like, the buyers just stopped. It just gave up essentially. And you could see that in real time. And that was already then my first kind of, yeah, I don't think it's I think that's gonna be a pullback of some kind. So I might as well get out of my buy. And then, sellers came in and already I was pretty much out already here. But so I'm kind of I'm reacting in real time, trying to be fluid. There's no kind of um it's not like black and white. It's kind of, unfortunately, it is, you have to be a little bit fluid with it. But if ultimately what you are looking for, if I had to put like black and white rules onto it, you're looking for, like, for the entry, you're looking for heavy volume on the opposite side. So if you want to buy, obviously I'm looking for, heavy sellers coming in, failing to push the market down like they did, failing and just kind of stopping. And then I want to see buyers, aggressive buyers, above where the sellers came in, right? And we really kind of got that here, 97 to 186. This would have been the confirmed entry. And I actually did enter another contract on this 97 again, right? So I entered, two contracts here and I added another contract here, and then I got out at the top. So that's kind of like, the real confirmation move. You really want to wait. Now, I don't always wait for that confirmation. I like to, a lot of the time, front run it a bit. If I'm seeing the absorption already happen and sellers are starting to fail, I will jump in smaller amounts, a little bit, dip my toe in anticipation that buyers might come in. If they don't come in, no big deal. My stop is literally going to be below those sellers. Because if the sellers keep pushing it down, I'm wrong. It's not ready yet. They broke that level, right? This level here, this whole area here was some kind of iceberg. If they break through it, they broke through it, right? So I'm wrong. Okay, no big deal. I'll wait for another entry. And essentially that is kind of why I like to front run as well, because you just get a bit of a better price and then you can scale in a bit more. And okay, unfortunately, we kind of just start ranging up and down. But if we did get that extension, great. You could keep holding it, trailing it. And God knows how, if you really do catch a nice leg, like, you can really squeeze out every penny of the market, right? Which is ultimately what you want. But if it doesn't, you can't force the market to do something it doesn't want to do. If it doesn't want to go up any higher and it wants to stop here, all right, fine, get out. It's not a big deal. You made a bit of money, but that's why I don't really like having fixed take profits. I have obviously overall goals. Like, if we got up here, I'm probably going to, just take my profit. Like the obvious ones, highs, lows, areas where you would expect take profits to be. But you also, you can see profit taking in the footprint, right? So for buyers, profit taking will look like big sellers. I mean, big buyers. Sorry. So these most likely were people taking profit, right? These big chunk of buyers were probably other buyers taking profit, right? I shorted it. Don't worry, I was on 20 ticks, not 24. Good stuff, man. Charis, I'm not hanging out with my friends anymore. This shit is the brightest part of my day, and imagine I'm a yacht captain. Oh, you're a yacht captain. That's amazing. That's like a really cool job, man. You don't get to see many, like, well, yacht captains, I guess. 26. So do you trade on like a yacht as well, or when you're because that's like basically a house on some of these yachts are insane. You trade there as well. That's some that's awesome. 26.72 between two daily candles. The price rocketed, leaving a huge gap. Could you confirm 26? Of course, 26.70. 0.72. My bad. 0.72. Okay. 0.72. So somewhere around here. I'll go to the 15-minute. So price did rocket. So from here, that rocket up you're talking. Okay, yeah, from that move up, was there a gap created? There is one here. Now you could probably find an even smaller gap, like something more scalp worthy, if you were to take just that leg. So if I go back to candlesticks and just do, just that leg, you can see where the original orders were probably placed, and it was there. That's like the lowest point. The biggest kind of like, buyers would probably came in just below that, and that's why it rocketed up. And then there was another one there, and you can see again on the candle. So yeah, there are like, I mean, there's tiny gaps and there's big overall ones. It all, every time frame has kind of, but there's going to be gaps everywhere. You just want to be very selective with the ones you pick that look good as well. But yeah, absolutely, there is a gap there as well. I wonder if low volume nodes will work in future as well, as many people would know this already and it will stop working. Also, did you check if low volume nodes were working in the past 19? Didn't check in the 1980s. Didn't go that far. I don't even know if I can get 1980s data, to be honest. But look, I've been using it for at least 10 years now, I'd say, and it's always worked. And I don't think it's going to be something that stops working even if other people use it, because it's ultimately, there's always going to be all it's showing is fast movement in the market. If the market moves fast in one direction, it's going to create a low volume node. That's all it's pointing out, essentially. So unless the market just stops moving fast, which it's never going to happen. I mean, it's literally the mechanics of the market, right? The only way that would happen is if people stopped trading, essentially, with any size, and that's never going to happen. There's always going to be, aggression in the market. So yeah, I don't think they're going to just randomly stop. Peter, haha, just thought of something you have in correlation with ICT. In ICT, they would take a trade from a fair value gap. You identify that area where the market moves quickly, showing a low. Yeah, no, I'm fully aware. Like when I first heard about fair value gaps, I was like, what? I was a little intrigued. I was like, what is this? All of a sudden, I heard like, everywhere, fair value gap, fair value gap. And I kind of looked into it, and it was something to do about the 2 wicks or whatever. And I was like, this is just a low volume node. I was like, there's nothing new. I was like, so what it looks like is ICT takes a lot of institutional ideas, kind of repackages them a little bit, and shows you how to identify them using candlesticks, which I guess is fine. But just use the volume profile, man. It's far more accurate at showing you where it's going to be. Because obviously you got like really obvious ones, like, yeah, you don't have to be a genius to know that the market probably pushed through that very quickly. Like, so I'm assuming that's a fair value gap, right? The 2 wicks or something like that. right? But there are also ones that aren't that obvious, and especially in the longer term over lots of kind of movement or big area, you'd be surprised um, how many there are that will still be respected and held, and you wouldn't know it if you're just looking at it like that. You have to kind of look at the overall volume. um, like if I can give an example, maybe if I go on the hour, like I mean, this is all just consolidation, but even like, I can't really show a good example. I mean, we've just been going sideways, but like if we just take, this big leg up here, try figure out where every fair value gap is. It's going to take you freaking forever, right? And you're probably going to make some kind of error at some point, right? Whereas with the volume profile, I can just see where the gaps are. The little one there, right? There's one there. Done. Those are obviously the most major ones. That's all I care about. And look, boom. Respected, 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 blew through, but then this one done. Like, I don't need to look at the candle wicks and all this bullshit, right? I'm sure you can identify it with the candles as well if you're really what do you call it? If you're really willing to do that. But it takes 10 seconds to do with a volume profile tool. Why zoom in and look at the wicks and all that? It's just, do you know what I mean? Like you're making your job harder for no real reason. It's dead simple, like done. And that's why volume profile for me is, even though it's the same concept, the ICT guy, he's taken that concept and just repackaged it a bit. Oh, we're getting very close to that gap, by the way. Ultimately, just do it the correct way. It's so much better. You should watch his new video to understand how they form. They won't just go away because people trade them, which they already have been for a long time. Oh, okay, you're replying to Mohi. Yeah. Oh, there's so many messages. Are your rules not objective? There are look, like risk reward, for example, is kind of objective. Like it's kind of hard. Like obviously, imagine I want to take a trade here, right? And I'm going to have a fixed kind of stop here, but my target as a whole, and I don't believe it will go much higher. I'm not going to take that because that's just stupid, right? Now, the only reason that would ever happen is if there was like a giant candle and the orders were huge, and I know I'm going to have a huge stop, or I got in late or whatever. I'm not going to bother taking it, right? That's why you'll see many times if I miss a trade, right? I'm like, shit, like it's already happened. I'm not chasing it. I don't jump in then and be like, okay, I'm going to try and catch it, because I know my stop is going to have to be bigger than potentially my reward. So I'm not going to do it, right? So if I missed a trade, I missed a trade. My entry has to be very, very clean in order to get that good trade. So, but ultimately, yeah, I got to be kind of fluid with the market. Yes, I do. This summer, there were many instances that we were kind of busy, and I was arranging everything with my deckhands for me to be free the first 2 hours at NY. That's incredible, man. I appreciate it as well that you're, trading and tuning in as well. Bro, I'm struggling to understand absorption. I know you'll post a video about it. Meanwhile, could you please show me how? Okay, yes. Okay, we might even see it here. Mohi, pay attention, right? So there's two different things you're looking for on the footprint when it comes to. There's two different. There's aggressive entries, and then there's just absorption, right? So look at this number. We're at 80 now, because the number. It's a bad example, and we're going up already. We've tapped into it, and we're already freaking moving. I wanted to stay for a little bit so I could show you. But essentially, absorption, true absorption, is when you have a large chunk. So imagine this number is 300, right? Sellers, delta, and it just doesn't really move. It doesn't move, and the number itself doesn't really change. It kind of stays around 300. Might go a little bit, 290, 280, whatever, right? But nonetheless, it's just, getting big And the number keeps increasing as well, adds to that. So if it went from like minus 250 to minus 300, minus 350, minus 400, and it's still not pushing down, that is true absorption. Okay, true absorption. Now, if the number was negative 350, for example, and then it jumps to negative 100, okay, then 250 buy contracts aggressively just bought in that area. That's not technically absorption, that's aggression. So I would mark that in my head as, oh, aggressive buying, right? Absorption is when it just, we might see it here because this is an area. So hopefully we do actually see it live right now. And I can show you. Let's see. So you see how 146, it went up there. 168, it's still not pushing down. That's true absorption there. Bit of aggression from the buyers coming in now because it pushed that number down, right? Back to lower numbers. But did you see for a split second there how it went from like, look, it's going back up to 100. We're still not going down. That is absorption. Now I know there's absorption right here, okay, in the book, right? Now I want to see a bit of buy aggression come in, okay? I could already, like if you're front running, you could front run and enter right there. Now the aggression's a little bit's coming in. You could front run and enter. So I'm going to do that right now. Front run and buy just to show you. I have clicked buy. I don't know why it's taking forever again. Come on. I literally clicked buy like 10 minutes ago. That's ridiculous, right? Now, if it breaks through this area, I can pretty much get out the market, okay? If we go below this area, I know that absorption in this area here didn't hold up, all right? It's not going to hold up. I'm wrong. Do you know what I mean? So I can get out of the market pretty quickly, right? Because they're going to break through that iceberg. And then I'll wait for the next level. There might be lower down. It might be the next, a bigger one. Do you know what I mean? That will hold up and push that market up because I'm still overall bullish because we're in that gap, right? So now as we're going back into it, I'm keeping my eye. I can literally have a stop right below that candle. Do you know what I mean? So I can have a really tight stop, front running it a bit because we haven't really had true aggressive buyers pushing the market up really effectively yet. We had a bit of aggression come in, but the buyers also weren't that effective at really getting it up. So it's still kind of not 50-50, but it's still kind of, it's not ready yet. So I'm front running it a bit before I add more size onto the market. I'm really looking what's going on here. Sellers are still trying to get this market down. They're trying to break through this iceberg, but there is clearly an iceberg here. It's just stopped, right? And no matter how much they're putting in, not huge amounts of volume. Look, it's going back up to 60. There was a bit of aggression there, and they're starting to break it, right? Just ever so slightly, they're starting to break it. It's not a real true break, but yeah, they've pretty much broken it. So didn't quite work out that area. Fair enough. All right. Now you wait for the next one, right? Now that was only like 100 something contracts. It wasn't a huge amount. But if it's like 300, for example, right? Like a really big amount, that's going to be more kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? There is clearly a big iceberg here, right? So again, you just want to that's true absorption. When the numbers get bigger, but it stops. Again, there's a bit of absorption here. Again, it's only 100 something contracts. It's not a huge amount, right? It's not like, oh my God, this is massive. We must enter. But you really want to focus on the obvious, really big ones. Do you know what I mean? So I hope that kind of shows you absorption, right? You want to see essentially the numbers on, like if you're looking to buy, right, sell absorption, right? The sell numbers get bigger, but without real push up. So again, if you wanted to scalp, you can again do a little front run trade here in anticipation that buyers might come in. They're actually coming in a bit here. Oh, okay. Are they going to push this market up? They might actually, this might be the actual real move now. Do you know what I mean? And then you can hold it. But then again, you want to be a bit fluid. And then when you do catch the move, it really does go. Do you know what I mean? So there's going to be times where you're going to get chopped up a bit. You're going to get stopped out. You're going to get, areas are going to break, unfortunately. But you have to be willing to kind of just jump back in, keep spotting it. Right, I'm happy. Boom, jump back in. And just never full port, break your orders up into small. That was only 5 micros, right? If you see more and it's starting to get really good, add another, add a bit more size to it. jump in a bit harder, whatever, right? So it's like, again, we saw a bit of absorption in that area. It wasn't huge, it wasn't massive, but it was like you saw it. It was going up the numbers on the sell side, but it just wasn't moving down. So there was someone in the book absorbing it, right? There's so many comments. Here we go. I'm getting confused and making my charts complex by marking zones at 15-minute bigger leg. Then I draw zones at 1 minute recent longer leg. That is making my chart full of zones. Any solution? I would look. I mean, you're gonna have, obviously, if you do it on the 1 minute with every leg, you're gonna get cluttered like crazy. You really want to look at legs that kind of really broke structure that kind of makes sense. Like, I'm not going to draw, say, we were here, right? And okay, technically, if you want to be really pedantic, that is technically a bit of a leg, right? Move up. But I'm not going to draw that out because it's not really, it didn't really do anything. It just kind of scrolled up a little bit. So I'm not going to draw a volume profile from here to here and draw out the zones because there's going to be loads of little tiny gaps and they're just unlikely to hold, right? Because it didn't really impact the market massively. But when you've got areas that really broke structure, had like true moves, like this move, that move, like these are decent moves, right? And if it's only a bit of consolidation in between, all right, fine. Never really had a real pullback. You might as well just draw the whole move out from where it started. Consolidation. Here was the last real pullback, I would say. So start the move from here. Do you know what I mean? Start it from here all the way up to the top, right? And now there's, wow, there are areas where are really kind of, I mean, this is overnight as well. You're going to remember this is pre-market. The volume is anyway low. But yeah, like the areas, where there's really low volume nodes are like here, which kind of line up to the longer area anyway. So there's no point really having it on the chart. That's where we are kind of right now. And then, right below it, you got one there. But these are all pre-market kind of areas. You wanna really put more emphasis on market open, okay, and forward. What happened in the pre-market is generally, it's just because there's not there's not really much institutional activity pre-market, right? And you want to find the institutional activity. So yeah, I mean, that's probably the best way I can explain it. The same strats have worked since the 1800s. They just renamed by influencers pretending they're there. Literally, yeah. Dark Fire, good morning. Good morning to you. Do you think that we are heading to the all-time high on NQ? Not today, but we're getting pretty close. Most likely, yeah, most likely we're probably going to get to the all-time high. Now that we broke this area, I think there's a good chance we will. But again, we'll see. I mean, we're still very much in this kind of annoying range area on the longer term, so it could just rotate again. ICT say volume profile on my ass. Oh, he doesn't know what he's on about then. Fatty, good to see you. When you realize, oops, my whole comments jumped there. What's going on? When you realize the volume profile is so good, fair value gap can form anywhere, even in a high volume node, so they aren't exactly the same as a low volume node. I didn't know that. Maybe a fair value gap trader can try to find them in a low volume node. Sounds like a good confluence to me. Potentially, yeah, why not? From ICT, I just use on my Trading View the ICT kill zones that show the different sessions, so I use it as an extra confluence together with volume nodes. VWAP, point of control, etc. The more in one spot, the more chances. Very true. Yeah, the more confluences that line up, always a good sign as well. I can see above the fixed range volume profile, there are a few low volume nodes at the top. I mean, right at the top. Does that mean there is no activity there and the market may fall from there? Right. So the top is always going to be, you can pretty much forget like right at the top. Like I don't even pay attention to really, really high up, right? Because most of the time that is caused by profit taking, right? If you see notice we're kind of rotating down now, right? We're having a pullback, right? okay, say there was a low volume node. Remember, it's got to be sandwiched between two high volume nodes. It's not just low volume in general. It's got to be sandwiched, right? Like here's a high volume or higher volume node, low volume node, higher volume node, right? High, low, high, right? When you see that pattern appear on the volume profile, that's what you're looking for, not just low volume node, right, as a whole, because there's going to be even more low volume nodes and they're just generally low volume, right, as well, and market didn't spend much time. Now, if you see one right at the top, there's a good chance what you're seeing is that the market, after, especially if there's a pullback, what you're seeing is that the market, pushed up or whatever, loads of people started taking profit, right? So that increased the volume and also the time it spent, and then it starts having that pullback, okay, and then the volume will drop a little bit as it starts plowing down a bit, and so I wouldn't put emphasis in terms of playing a rejection type trade on one's really high up in a bullish market, right? I would look more than likely that it will break the first one, come back and kind of go down. And if I draw it out here, we might actually see that happen. Let me see because this looks like a good example of what I just explained in real time. So let me see if we got that. So if I draw, for example, just this leg up here, the most recent one, I'm going to go to the candles, right? Oh my God, there's like no volume at all. That's insane. There we go. All right, we didn't quite get exactly what I was looking for, right? But if there was, for example, like a high volume node and then a bit of a drop in volume, a lower volume node and another high one, that's more likely due to profit taking, and you're looking more for that kind of play then. But be aware that it's, you only want to trade to the next node below it, right? So the lowest you want to kind of, trade it to is probably that, as your take profit or something, right? You don't really want to be trying to expect a huge extension. There's going to be some reaction in that area. Yo, Drive, good to see you. Sam, I'm using this cluster delta right now. Can you explain this bid X ask? They don't have like in TradingView. How can I relate this on Trading? They should have a delta profile, a delta footprint. I'm pretty sure they do. If you go in the settings at the top somewhere, switch it to delta. Bid X ask is essentially just buy and sell, right? It's no different to. It just shows you how many sell contracts, how many buy contracts, like TradingView does, right? If you switch the setting to buy and sell, that's literally the bid and ask, right? That's it. But they definitely do have a delta version. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Sammy, isn't the fair value gap is the point of control and not any random gap? Isn't the fair value gap is the point of control and not any random gap? I don't know about fair value gaps, if I'm honest. I really don't know. And I've like someone said that it's very similar to what I'm showing on the volume profile. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, the point of control is usually just consolidation. That's all the point of control is. Like the point of control here is just because it went sideways. Where's the point of control on this one? Let's have a look. Right, so we've got like a really big volume profile from ages ago, and if I zoom out to a bit more, like 4 hours or something, all it is just where it spent the most amount of time. And you can see spent a bunch of time there, really long time there, bunch of time there. That's the only reason it's the point of control. Point of control is always 99% of the time, the point of control is just showing you consolidation. That's all it's showing you. But because consolidation usually follows up with some kind of move, right? Like it has to, a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on consolidation, right? Because they're looking for, the cycles of the market, right? The whole, we're getting to that area. The whole, my mind's gone blank. Accumulation, distribution, all that kind of crap, right? So they're like, okay, it's accumulating, we're waiting for distribution. That's why they put a lot of emphasis on point of control. But generally speaking, if the market goes to point of control, you're going to get something happen. It's most likely going to go sideways for a bit. So if you're in a trade and you hit point of control, 9 times out of 10, you're probably looking to get out. So it's a good place to target as well, take profit. Make a video about aggressive seller and buyer. I absolutely will, don't worry. ICT fair value gap is not accurate. Fair value gap, yes, it's a gap, but it's not fair value gap. Oh, I see what you're saying now. Fair value in terms of the actual name, fair value meaning buyers and sellers. Yeah, well, yeah, even the name is kind of incorrect. Fair value would technically be like consolidation. I get what you're saying now. Yeah, I agree. Sammy, I think that you are a very good momentum trader. I think you personally should use heat map. Bookmap has it. Deep charts has it too. I agree, man. I just never really got into it, but I've always said to myself, like, when I get a bit of time, I'm gonna look into the heat map more. I want to learn it, blah 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 blah, and I just always forget. You know. Perfect, thank you. You know, if a sell candle has huge sell contracts and no follow through, means it's absorption. Whatever sell contract has a small or buy contracts at the bottom. If it has small or buy at the bottom, it just doesn't really mean much. It's not. Small numbers mean nothing. Just forget small numbers when you're trading the footprint, right? It's just noise. It's static noise. That's what you want to look at small numbers as. Don't base your decisions on any small numbers. We got so close to that other little gap. Come on, get down to that. We got so damn close to it. But yeah, I would enjoy seeing you nailing it with it. I will 100% at some point. I promise I will get into the heat map. Small or big. Oh, you meant small or big contracts at the bottom. What if the sell candle had small or big contracts at the bottom? If it has big contracts, it depends what contracts, right? And it's got to be within logic, right? If it had lots of big sell contracts at the bottom and it's a bearish candle and it just stopped, that's absorption. Buyers, there's basically some buyer on that level in the book with a large iceberg order absorbing those sellers, right? If it has now a lot of buy volume, like actual aggressive buy volume, that means a lot of people just entered buy aggressively, like buy, buy, buy. Both are a good sign for potentially a reversal, right? It's more about the follow through, because look, big. I know this sounds insane, and it's a bit hard to kind of grasp, but big numbers as a whole, whether it's buy or sell, can actually work both ways, right? Big sell numbers can show you that there's actually a lot of buyers in the market. They just entered passively, right? They didn't enter aggressively. Big buy numbers on the delta can show you that there were also a lot of buyers in the market, but they entered aggressively, not passively. The sellers entered passively in that case. Now, if the sellers entered passively, it doesn't make any sense. Why would a seller on a downward trend enter passively as a limit order? That makes no sense, right? So you got to ask yourself, are those sellers trying to get into the market, or are they more likely, what do you call it? Are they more likely, setting stop loss, trailing, something like that, right? That probably makes more sense, okay? Passively. So yeah, you kind of use logic with the footprint, you're going to see one thing happen at the bottom of a downward move that looks exactly the same as the top of an upward move, but they do the opposite thing. That's because the context is different, right? The context is different. One was a move up, one was a move down, but they can look identical on either side, right? You always have to remember there's another side to every trade you're seeing, right? The people who entered 6 contracts here, there were 6 buy contracts also executed, but passively. Now, if that's a huge number, you've got to ask yourself, who is buying passively here? Why are they buying passively here? Probably because we've pushed down, it's a retracement. They're probably looking to buy the market to push it up. So if they're entering here passively, they're building up an order. If they come aggressively, that's them now trying to get the market up. That's why you're looking for that pattern in the footprint, right? Asia has such low volume. After absorption of sellers, the aggressive buyers should jump for my buy entry to confirm. Exactly. Because the way they do it, they enter passively in order to not move the price, right? Because buying aggressively as an institution, you can jump the price, and you will then your average price per contract will be worse, right? If you want to enter at 160 here and you just enter aggressively 500, you're going to jump the price up, right? And now your average price is probably like 172 or something. And you're like, ah, shit, I just lost 12 points basically. So I'm going to enter, I'm going to place 500 buy limits at 160. Sellers are going to come in and keep, selling into it. My order's getting filled. Now, once my order's filled, all right, now I enter a bit aggressively, get that market up. That's all they do. But every institution is doing that same play, up and down, up and down. So you're really looking for who are the biggest ones. There's many who fail. They might enter aggressively to push the market up, but they fail. It doesn't work out for them. Only because they're an institution doesn't mean they're guaranteed success, right? There's what you're seeing every day on a chart is literally institution versus institution. They're all fighting each other. They don't care about retail traders. We're not even noticeable on the charts, right? As a whole, it's all institutions fighting each other, right? And your aim is to kind of figure out who's probably the strongest, or who wants it more. If someone's entering really aggressively, they want it. That's going to be a red flag. Like, okay, they're really piling it on. They probably aren't going to give up that easily. So you got to use like logic with it. US pre-market overnight session before Asia opens is the perfect spot for bankers to dump or pump a lot of contracts. Yes, I do agree with that. What does rotate mean? And if you can show rotate, just means like up, down, It's just when it kind of reverses. That's all rotate. It's just another word for. It's more like consolidation and kind of goes up, down. The market's just kind of rotating, right? It's not like order flow term or anything like that. It's yeah. Sammy, question: where is the fair value of the volume profile? Generally speaking, consolidation would be what you would consider fair value. Yeah. So the point of control, most likely, or high volume as a whole. Could you share your volume profile settings? Absolutely. Volume profile settings is literally just default 24 rows. Value area 100, up down volume. You can also do total volume. It's identical. It's the same. That's my settings. All right. First time here. Looks like your fixed range volume profile starts 7 days ago. Is that normal range, or are you trading only on the 15-minute chart, or do you look for entries lower time frames? Yes. So that's more of a longer term one because that's where the move kind of started. So I use that on the 15-minute. You're absolutely correct. And that's where I got this little gap at the top here that we're currently in, looking for a potential buy. And then I do have like a smaller one that started, I think it was like yesterday or something, of this move up, to kind of level in on the really small gap here for this area. And, if we get there, we're basically, we've pretty much got there already. Ah, shit, the market's pushing up already. Yeah, it looks like it happened, but yeah, that's essentially it. So I like to draw them both out, bit longer term, medium term ones. Also the really long term ones I have as well, ones that are months old, but those are like, they come so rarely. It takes forever for it, but when it does go there, those are usually big kind of massive trend starters. So they're good to have on a chart, but yeah, for the most days you're never going to be there. What does those red can blue color coding tells us on the fix? It's just sell and buy, but you don't, to be fair, like, don't pay attention to it, right? Just ignore it. Just use total volume if you want. Like, don't start looking into how many buyers, how many sellers on that area. That's just gonna, trust me, I've back tested, tried so many different things out that I couldn't find any correlation or anything really crazy about it. So, and it's usually pretty much 50-50 for the most part. But yeah, but by all means, if you want to play around with it, maybe you can find something. I know, but I didn't. So The point of control is where institutional agrees it's fair value to do business. Correct. Made my profits for the day, so I'm heading out. Thanks for another great stream. Dr. Kais, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow, but have a good one, and well done as well for the profits. So let's get back to it. I've caught up on all the comments. I love how lively this chat is. Really, really good stuff, by the way. Really awesome. So yeah, we got very close to that little gap there. I mean, we are in multiple kind of gaps. We're in a medium-term gap, a really long-term gap, and a tiny 1 minute gap right there. So they're all lining up. So I'm very confident for the most part that this is going to be, it's not going to break this area too easily. Let's just put it that way. I am $785 up. Need one more scalp. I'm capitalizing small moves with 4 micros. Beautiful. You're smashing it. Smashing it, Charis. Fluoride, greetings, sir. Appreciate all you do. Please, is it possible to do a backtest video for us in the future? I can absolutely do a backtest video. I can absolutely do it. I can do that. So, but I can only do backtesting with like the volume profile. I couldn't use the footprint. The footprint data runs out after, I don't know how long, but only a certain amount of candles. So you can't really, that's the sad part about the footprint. You can't really backtest, at least not on TradingView. You can, and then you can't replay it either. But I know there are platforms. I think Deep Charts actually has like a replay available on the footprint stuff. So maybe with them, but yeah, you can only like volume profile. I could do a backtest on. I'm just going to lower the ticks per row because each cluster is becoming a bit big. It's starting to look a bit ugly. This looks a bit nicer. That means the volatility has dropped a little bit, right? Let's see if we've got anything here. So yeah, that was not a bad move. But you can see how, it's a shame I was reading comments here. I would have loved to see. I didn't even realize we got there, but yes, I was about to say it. Replay with footprint on Deep Charts. That's another great feature, man. They're smashing it, those guys, man. They're doing really, really well. Really well. But yeah, we basically tapped into that gap. And it looks like now this is where it bottomed out. And there could be, a nice push up. But do bear in mind, in 3 hours or just under 3 hours, there is FOMC. I would highly recommend most people, stop trading. Italians apparently have a great school of trading. Oh, do they really? I didn't know that. That's the weird thing. There's no real like school for trading. Like I'm surprised. Like universities don't have a trading course. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm surprised that was never a thing. Maybe it was. Maybe I didn't hear about it. But as far as I'm aware, at least in the UK, there was never been like obviously there's independent, educating kind of companies that teach you trading. That's different. But I mean like kind of like established universities offering like a trading course. Indians too. Yeah. Well, it's good that, some countries are doing it. That's awesome. Italy and India for the win there. Teaching the next generation trading. So there's another smaller gap, not a great one, but a little bit above that, was tested. So we are coming back into that on the other side. So I would be very cautious, continue buying. And it looks like it rejected just a little bit. Yeah, so we got into it from the other side and now, so there could be this kind of play right now where we're kind of trapped between two areas now, these two areas. So when you're in that situation, you really only want to, trade at the extremes. You only want to short at the top unless you break it. Then you're again looking for continuation trades. You're looking for that, right? Or you want to long at the bottom again, unless you break it, then you're looking for continuation trades down. But when you're in the middle, there's a good chance we're about to enter a range because we're trapped between two areas now, and being in the middle of a range is annoying as hell. No one wants to be in the middle of a range. Please, I'm trying to get a subscription for the deep charts, but it seems a little too much. Is it worth it? Oh, he's asking Charis. He's asking Charis. So yeah, let's see what's crack-a-lacking here. I think we're about to enter consolidation, personally. I think we're going to start consolidating, which gives us then another chance to, whenever there's consolidation, that's when the session cumulative volume delta comes into play. And then you can use that for really good kind of, you can use that as a really good kind of indicator to, whether it's going to continue up or whether it's going to go down. You can use the cumulative delta as a great tool for that. So, yeah. I'm just trying to find where that gap is. Where did I draw it? I think I drew it on this leg, didn't I? So I can do like a little updated one. Just drag that over. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Yeah, there's so many just wedged all in around here, which is, it's becoming a very choppy area. I can imagine we're stuck in consolidation now. I think it's going to go up and down between these two areas. You can see a bit on TradingView. I'm waiting for the Mac version to get it. Otherwise, I would have already started. Andrea Kimi has a video series explaining order flow and how the platform works. Yeah. So, Jairus, is it only desktop based then? It's not cloud based or anything. That's the only downside to it. But I guess if it's really, heavy duty, kind of hard to run on. I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's easy. I don't know. Who knows? Assalamu alaikum, Sami. Came across your channel for the first time, and honestly, you made me more determined to keep volume profile on my charts as an extra confident. God bless you in the knowledge. Fadli, you're more than welcome. I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah, volume profile is probably the one. It's probably, in my opinion, the best tool. I would almost place it above the footprint, because I think with volume profile you get the levels. The footprint is good for entries and confirmation, but you can be like an intraday trader just with the volume profile. Do you know what I mean? Bit harder to be a scalper, but intraday you can be like a good intraday trader just using volume profile. I moved my stop loss during the trade. How can I control that? Man, that's a tough one. When you say you move your stop loss, you mean, do you move it, if it's going against you, you keep making it bigger? Is that what you mean? No resting orders on heat map, completely empty. Yeah, it seems like it's all died down a bit. I think we're entering a range now. I know that they said that it is available on Windows and Mac, will be launched here. Okay, nice. Saman, the session is pure gold, bro. Amazing Q&A, tons of value. Add it to your channel, man. You're growing forever. Fans, thank you for teaching. You're more than welcome, Peter. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I think every live does get, the moment it ends, it gets added to like the live section of the YouTube channel automatically, so you can always rewatch it, etc. Sammy, mark my words, 26072 is the sweet spot. Let's have a look. 072 right here. Oh no, sorry, that's 172. I'm so blind, man. Okay, right down here where you're saying, yeah, look, point of control there. Absolutely, there's going to be a reaction of some kind in that area. I mean, we had that consolidation, a big spring off. I agree. Like, if it gets down there, there's definitely going to be some kind of bullish move. I would agree with that, unless it's FOMC. It's a massive upset or something, and the market just sells off. Like, then all bets are off. Then it doesn't matter what you do. When it's like that, just yeah. that's a whole different ball game. Technicals only work until until there's a big upset in the fundamentals, then technicals go out the window. It's just that's trading. But this is dead right now. Very, very dead. I think consolidation for a bit. Oh wow. Point of control of your larger marked area. I marked anchored volume profile in the last 3 days, and this spot is completely empty, low volume node. Really? That's strange. 0.72, right? Okay. For the last 3 days would be this volume profile here. It's still relatively a bit high on. I mean, we had consolidation bang on 0.72, right? 0.72 is there. I mean, we're pretty much loads of consolidation, so there's actually quite a bit of volume there. I guess if you started it from where the move went up, there's going to be low volume. So if you start it from there, but even then there's a bit more heavier volume. I'm honestly, I'm not sure, man. In heat map, they don't track this low volume node. They only track those point of control in your volume footprint. The heat map, I think heat map tracks the depth of market, from my understanding. So, the order book itself, it tracks and where everything was executed. So I guess, yeah, partly also, like you said, the footprint orders as well. No, you're actually right. Yeah, the footprint orders as well. Because the volume that gets executed, obviously, yeah. But it will be like the reverse of a footprint almost then. Sorry, last 6 days. Okay, last 6 days. Oh, yeah, last 6 days, I think you're going to be right. Let's have a look. So we had one. Oh my god! Let me just do it on the daily. Trying to figure out where the days are. I'll just do it on a daily candle. Makes it so much easier. Let me just get rid of the footprint. Last 6 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's what I had drawn out. I am very okay. Yes. Okay. Overall, there is. Okay, I see what's going on now. When you're looking at it on the daily, like. So the way the volume profile works, right, is it kind of shifts. It is very hard to explain, but if you change time frames like extremely, the volume profile can shift because it's using, the row size. So with the daily, you would want to like up the row size, right? And then you get more of an accurate, down the row size, wrong way. You get more, it'll be more representative of the smaller time frames, right? And then because that is what the smaller time frame is showing me, right? If I was to zoom in and make the row size bigger, there would be a dip there somewhere in the last 6 days, right? But because I use just 24 rows as a whole, I'm kind of looking for a bigger overall dip, which this one is a bigger overall dip in volume as this one has a smaller kind of area. Does that make sense? Because like I said, there's like low volume nodes everywhere. But you're absolutely right. There is one there. But when you drop it to like the 15-minute, because each row size, I mean, there is actually, it is there, but it's not as extreme on the 15-minute. But you're looking at, what price point was it? Am I really getting confused? 26,072. No, wait a minute. That's all the way up here. What? I'm so confused. I don't know what you're looking at. I thought that was it. 0.72 is all the way up here. On the last 6 days. So this one. Yeah, no, it's not there. Actually, to be honest, I break down the CFD on TradingView. But it shouldn't make a massive difference on the CFD because it's more time-based than usually they match up, because this is like the ones on Project X is actual it's more tick based because they don't actually show the real volume. But and then on this one is actually the I apply the prices on future. Sorry. Oh, no, it's all right. And then based on point difference. Okay. Oh, I get what you're saying. Right. So you're looking at the CFD price. That's why. Okay. So on the futures price, what price is it on the futures? I'm with you now. I completely understand, Charis, now. I was going to say, I was really confused why it's not showing. It does, for some reason, show completely different stuff. Yeah. Because I don't know what the CFD price is, but it is a bit different, the CFD price. Oh, we tapped into it. Oh my God, I just missed. Go back to volume footprint. Oh, come on. This is why you need to set alerts as well, because it's so easy to miss it. Damn. So I really wanted to see what actually happened here in real time. Got the aggressive buying. It doesn't look terrible. I wanted to see if there was true absorption, what actually happened here. But yeah, these areas, they react constantly though. What time is it now? 1:55. But guys, I think we're going to pretty much call it there. We've been almost 2 hours, but it's been a really, really, really good session. I love all the questions everyone has asked. It's been awesome. Today's been really lively, which is great. But I'm back again tomorrow. Obviously, FOMC later today, and then tomorrow we're going to see the results of it, essentially, see how the market reacts as a whole. Maybe we actually get some real movement. Who knows? But awesome stuff. Thank you all for tuning in. Nadine, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one. Take care, everyone.